His earliest days as an actor, entertaining crowds at the Last Frontier Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip, to his profound partnership with Nevada's Paul Laxalt, my state has always felt close to President Reagan. The same week Ronald Reagan became governor of California, Paul Laxalt became governor next door in Nevada. When Ronald Reagan first sought the presidency, Paul Laxalt managed his campaign. And when President Reagan was down the street in the White House, Paul Laxalt worked here in the United States Senate as Nevada's senior senator. Paul was President Reagan's #1 confidant in the Senate, and when the president asked for things important, he went to Laxalt. The president trusted him with many important, difficult, and often classified assignments. When he sent Senator Laxalt to the Philippines to convince Ferdinand Marcos to step aside, he brought that nation back from the brink of civil war. Senator Laxalt is with us today to honor his good friend. He was so close to President Reagan that some called him the first friend. But we know no one was more important to President Reagan than his loving and beloved First Lady Nancy. Ms. Reagan, it's wonderful to see you. I had a wonderful time visiting with you before we came here, exchanging stories about Ronald Reagan. But you are here today, smiling as always, by President Reagan's side. The talented sculptor Chaz Fagan said, when he carved the statue we're about to unveil, he shaped the president's face in the friendly, familiar grin Reagan would flash just moments before one of his jokes. And that grin came often. He told a lot of jokes. This is a fitting place to honor him. It was just next door in Statuary Hall, where the new president began his first term by telling the country that the Americans held for more than a year in Iran were on their way home. And it was here under this dome, as temperatures outside sank into single digits, that President Reagan began his second term. It was the first inauguration I attended as a member of Congress, and the first and only time a president's taken the oath of office in the Capitol Rotunda. And on that bitter, cold day, at the height of the Cold War, President Reagan's characteristic confidence warmed and reassured America. Here's what he said. History is a ribbon, always unfurling. And he said it in this room nearly a quarter of a century ago. History is a journey, and as we continue our journey, we think of those who traveled before us. End of quote. President Reagan's travels from Dixon, Illinois, Hollywood, and Las Vegas to Washington, Berlin, and beyond left as enduring a legacy as anyone who's ever unfurled the long ribbon of our nation's history. And throughout that time, Nevadans have always been proud to call Ronald Reagan our neighbor, our leader, and our friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, the statue of President Ronald Reagan.